It's Flag Day, which is today. And it commemorates the adoption of the flag of the United States on June 14th, 1777, by a resolution of the Second Continental Congress. Mel Lippiott, who I see at Bob Evans, will discuss the history and etiquette of our nation's flag. Mel is the chair of the Salem Memorial and Patriotic Association, a Vietnam veteran, life member of Salem AmVets, member of the Salem American Legion, and has contributed many hours of volunteer service to our community. He will be speaking about flags related to the history of the United States, describe flag etiquette, and explain the meaning of the 13-fold procedure used by the U.S. Armed Forces during the ceremony of retreat. So at this time, can we make welcome Mel Lippiott.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
So we don't need a microphone, right? I'm going to have my hands full. I was told I had a short period of time, so I brought all my notes. Tomorrow morning we should have breakfast served. I'm just teasing. One thing that anybody knows about me, I like to tease. But I am a Vietnam veteran. I was there during '68, and I enjoy being involved in the community. I have never joined the Historical Society because I figured they'd keep me because I'm an antique. But at least I'm not driving the buggy tonight. Got me, Dave.
Got me.
All right. Information. If you got the paper today, there's a lot of information in the paper today. I was glad to see this, but they stole my thunder. If anybody read this, you're going to get a repeat of basically this tonight. If you didn't, see if you can get a copy. This is very good copy of flag etiquette and where the flag came from, the different things. The first one you see up here was the very first flag that was used. And I'm sorry the slides are cut off. It's Windows 10. I'm a Windows 7 XP Pro guy. I'm not familiar with Windows 10. But it says, an appeal to heaven. And that one was not in here. But I've got some other information here. I didn't have enough of these to go out for everybody, but this is a publication we have available through the AmVets, and it covers Old Glory, it covers the pledge, some information on the pledge, it covers how to display the flag, the proper means to display the flag, and there's nothing that gets my dander up, and that's hard to do. When you don't have hair, you don't have much dander, but nothing gets my dander up more than the flag being improperly displayed or used as a decoration instead of what it's meant to be. The flag is not a decoration. It is a symbol of the United States and everything that's gone into making the United States. I worked for years as an electrical engineer, retired 4 times, was driving me nuts, so now I work part-time for a funeral home. A lot of military services. Still have a hard time getting through. But this is a very good pamphlet. I was trying to get a lot more. There's information on when to display the flag, what the holidays are, when it should be displayed, how it should be displayed. A lot of people don't realize that every time there's a politician or something else that happens in the United States, there's a proclamation that the flag be put to half-staff for several days. I get upset because on Memorial Day, the day that honors all the veterans that gave their lives, it's up from dawn till noon. Then it's put back to half-staff. That kind of gets my dander going. But that's what the U.S. flag code is. Helpful hints. And the last page is things not to do. So there's a lot of things. There are several copies up here. I'll try and get more, and maybe I can leave some here at here for people to get when they come through. I picked one at the VA hospital down in Calcutta, and I walked into the ambulance the other day and said, "We have any of these?" They found a few, but I've got those. I haven't spoke for years. I used to teach radiological monitoring. Was EMA director for the county for 11 years, so I dealt with emergency power plant plans. But the original design of the American flag remained the same from 1777 till 1795. On June 18th, 1777, the Continental Congress passed the Flag Act of 1777, creating an official flag for a new nation. Alternating red and white stripes and a blue field with 13 white stars representing a new constellation. At one point in time, the stripes were white at the top, which meant the bottom stripe was white. And that flag was the, let me get it right, it was called the Fillmore or Millard, and it had 1776, and bear with me here, because if you can see this flag, and the way I grabbed these to put them on a slideshow, because I had a CD I was going to play for everybody, which was really great. The gentleman with Vane Scott was in town several years ago during one of the summer events, and he had a presentation at the Old State Theater, and it was a very good presentation. There was a CD available, but it's 50 minutes long, and there's no way I could cut it. And it was not long enough for what I'm doing tonight. So I love to have fun, in case people don't know me. Anyhow, you can see what happened here with this when it got on a ship. I put a blue field around it, so a little better, but with the black border around the flag, which is not really there, you can see that the flag would have looked considerably smaller and kind of strange against the sky. So they swapped the stripes. It's still 13, but the stripes now start red at the top, red at the bottom. Therefore, it shows the full glory of the flag. A little bit of history, not much, but a little bit. In 1794, the flag became 15 stars and 15 stripes. There were 15 colonies. I think that's the right one. Anyhow, you can see there's a lot of iterations of the flag through the years. A lot of confusion. Back in the day, they didn't have all the plans and drawings and everything that we have today to show how things are done. A lot of it was word of mouth, and it was seamstresses in different towns that made up the flags. So you can imagine getting a written thing explaining 13 stripes and the stars in a blue field, what the flag could look like. There were a lot of different flags, so for quite some time it got a little confusing. Can you imagine if today we went to 50 stars and 50 stripes and alternating light gray? I'd have vertigo after a while. In 1818, the stripes were permanently set to 13 to honor the original 13 colonies. And for those that don't know, we're 17, so we didn't make the stripes. Ohio's 17. New stars were then added only on July 4th, when new states came into the Union. So there were a couple years where 3 or 4 states were added, but they were added at the same time because it was during that physical year. So that's when the stars are added. They've even said how it's going to be laid out if there's another state added. It doesn't include the state of confusion, which we seem to be in a lot anymore. Anyhow, the impetus for the holiday known as Flag Day was started in 1777. In 1885, a Wisconsin grade school teacher. Now, there's one other story, and I just found it this morning, didn't have time to put it in my notes. So, I've been working on this for several days. Anyhow, Bernard Cigrand, C-I-G-R-A-N-D, held what was believed to be the first recognized Flag Day. So it was a birthday for the American flag that he got his students to get involved with. Woodrow Wilson issued a presidential proclamation in 1916 commemorating June 14th as Flag Day. It was not until 1949 that Congress passed legislation to set June 14th as Flag Day. 33 years? They're doing about the same thing now, I think, aren't they? Taking their time to get there. Specific colors are used in the flag. The white is what they call an exact white. Now, I don't know what that means. White is white. I was going to wear red, white, and blue, but it was out in the sun too long today, so I'm kind of red, and blue, and not black. Just, anyhow, the Old Glory red is the true name for the color in the flag, the red. Old Glory blue is the true color for the blue in the flag. And those are the official colors. However, flag manufacturers, because it's so difficult to make the true Old Glory red and Old Glory blue, that they've gone to the color adoption. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the color adoptions that are a standard now, but the standard for the red that most manufacturers use is a 193C. The navy blue is a 281C. And my son would know more about that because he's a graphics designer and has to make sure all the colors and designs are exact. So I didn't have a chance to talk to him to see what his explanation was. He's been wanting to tell me things for a long time. Every Memorial Day here since 2012, I had announced the parade for several years on Memorial Day. And I took an excerpt from what I call the parade prelude. And I just want to read what it says here. Our American flag is a symbol representing the lives and hardships that have been, are, and will be needed to maintain freedom. Please remember to show respect for this nation's flag that represents all that have given their lives serving this country. The American flag is not a decoration, but a symbol of the American resolve. And we try to read that before each Memorial Day parade. I hope some of you got to it. I hope it was a nice parade. We've tried to honor the flag and honor especially those who gave their lives. But if you go online, you can go online to USA.org or just look up flags, American flag, and it will cover it. And actually, you can get this printout. And this is where I captured all the flags from. I was able to capture them from here and put them on the slideshow, which I tried to narrate, but I never got into that in business. I was an engineer. I tried to make things work the way they were. But it covers, you can see, several different flags, and down to the one that we know as Old Glory today. So there's a myriad of different, it started out back before we were colonies, and at first we adopted the British flag we had the 13 stripes, and the British flag was the blue field. I don't know if, I don't remember if there's a slide in here of that. Yeah, there it is. Whoop. Big finger. And it just froze up. Alright, well,
We saw it.
you saw it. There will be a test afterwards, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to pass it, but there will be a test. But the United States flag code is rather long. That's what the majority of this is the flag code. I just highlighted some things in it that are interesting. If I can find the one that seemed to be. This is the one that I think on Flag Day especially, and any other holiday when the flag's flying. You go past my house any day or night, I've got a 4x6 flying on a flagpole, and it's lit. I live up on Jennings. On special days like Memorial Day, 4th of July, and today, I hang a 6x10 between the two big pin oaks out front. And it's hung in the vertical. And where a lot of people mess up hanging a flag, especially at a home where it's not on a pipe or a post, they put it up on their porch. Well, when they're putting it up, they put the stars in their left. Well, that's all right if they're standing against the wall and putting it up, because that's where it belongs, is on the left, upper left. They stand behind it and put it up, it's backwards. Dander again. Hair stands on it. I used to so much want to stop and say, would you please turn your flag around? And I can understand. I think it's great that they fly, but it would be nice if they flew properly. The other thing is when it's on a pole, it's always the uppermost flag on the pole. If there are several flags of different nations, they all fly at the same height. If it's several flags of, say, service flags, state flags, whatever, they're always below the American flag. And that's part of the flag code. A lot of people don't realize, and I just about had kittens again on Memorial Day. I know I look like I'm going to. What was that?
I said, I'll speak up.
Anyhow, in procession, the American flag is always to be on its right. In other words, four people abreast, guard, American flag, other flag, guard. It's always on the right. Well, the one color guard, which I didn't see because I didn't see the start of the parade, one color guard had on the left was incorrect. I'm not going to say who or what, but they should have known better. It was just a form color guard, so it was relatively new and nobody, but when I pulled it up to look, see if there was something on Facebook of the parade, because normally I'm announcing, and the last 2 years I've been going out to the cemeteries because I have to do all the scripting for everything. And I pulled it up on Facebook and oh my goodness. But most people don't notice anymore because they don't teach it. They don't teach it in school anymore. They don't teach respect for the flag, what it means, and how many service people do we have in here tonight? I see 3. Korea?
Pardon me?
Korea?
No, World War II.
World War II?
4 years. Navy.
Navy,
What period?
56 to 60.
Okay, you were kind of between Korea and Vietnam. I was Vietnam. So I'm going to ask for a volunteer in a few minutes. I need 2 volunteers. I need one that can explain the 13 stripes. And I've got it right here. If somebody wants to read it, and I'll help somebody else fold the flag. Do we have a veteran that would like to help fold the flag properly? Okay, do I have volunteers? Couple, will you help, sir? Okay, good. Could somebody read this?
Where are you looking at?
Dave, how are your eyes? This is small printing. I didn't.
Your glasses are here.
I'm good. Oh, I won't be able to find. I won't be able to find a flag.
How soon does
I brought a flag tonight. This is a